What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video, coming off a nice 2 week break from NASCAR. And I do say nice because honestly, as great as it is to sit down and watch a nice NASCAR race, build your Sunday around it. It was nice for me to get a couple Sundays free, play some golf, go to the beach. So yeah, and the Olympics too was a nice treat to watch. So, but it's good to be back. It's good to have a track. I feel like I know the racing product probably won't be very good, but it's good to have a track that I feel confident and comfortable about rather. Because I feel like we've seen enough of these short, flat tracks to kind of, know and expect what we're going to see at this point. It's going to be very tough to pass. They're using the option tire, so they will have an option to choose between the option tire and the prime tire. A long lasting and a more of a short run tire is kind of what that means. The only other time we saw that was at North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. So we've got North Wilkesboro data to look at as well as plenty of other short flat tracks. So with that, oh, real quick, actually, now that I think about it, NASCAR betting preview show. Let's shout out the partnership real quick before we get into the betting card. Like I said, NASCAR betting preview show is how you are listening to the podcast version of this show. And if you're on the YouTube and want to, follow that podcast feed, just search NASCAR betting preview show. However you consume your podcast, whether that be on Spotify, the podcast app through Apple, just search the NASCAR betting preview show, give that feed a follow, and you can listen to plenty of great motorsports bettors like myself to get you prepped for the weekend that is Richmond or whatever it may be. Coming up on the playoffs, 4 races left. So plenty of good content we want to get out prior to the playoffs. So with that, let's get right into it. Richmond, the second time we will be at Richmond this season. The first time, if you remember, was kind of a crazy ending. Martin Truex Jr. leading a lot of laps, kind of dominating the end of that race. Late caution comes out, all hell breaks loose, and Martin Truex Jr.'s day goes to complete and utter shit. And he loses. He kind of throws a little bit of a temper tantrum. And Denny Hamlin ended up victorious. And like I said, we will be using the option tire. So we saw that debuted at North Wilkesboro. And who won the North Wilkesboro race? That was Joey Logano, who is going to be my favorite play this weekend. I like Ford a lot here. Ford has been very good on the short, flat tracks. We talk about North Wilkesboro. We can add Gateway as another kind of playground for Penske that we saw earlier this season with Blaney having a great car and Austin Cindric ending up being the winner there. So very, very confident in Ford here. And even the first Richmond race, Joey Logano finished second, had a good car. Blaney was good there. I know I said, right, that Logano won the All-Star race. Blaney was third. Chris Buescher was up in the top 5, or rather, Buescher was third. Blaney was up in the top 5. So I really like Ford here. I think this is a good spot for them. And let's start with Logano at 10-1. Dominant at the All-Star race, led, I believe, every lap. And I just mentioned, what I said there about short flats and Ford. So I'm very, very confident with Joey Logano here. I think when you bring in this newer sort of tire, a guy that seems to figure things out quicker than everybody else is Joey Logano. We saw that at North Wilkesboro. I feel like he's going to feel confident. This is a good racetrack for him and his team. And I like Logano here at the 10-1 numbers, what I see it on Rhode Island Sportsbook. Let me get an up-to-date number. I saw like some people placing it at 12-1. So we'll see what it is real quick here on DraftKings Sportsbook. Uh, Apologize for the 11 to 1 on DraftKings. So, yeah, right around that 12 to 10 to 1 number. I think that is a great value bet to get Joey Logano at. I'm going to take it a step further. Penske winning team 6 to 1. So 6 to 1 for Penske to win. I saw it earlier this morning at 7.5 to 1. So shop around. If they give you winning team bets, they do on Rhode Island Sportsbook. I believe sometimes they do on DraftKings. So shop around if you can find it. I think it's a good bet. It gives you Cindric, and it gives you, of course, the rising star that is Ryan Blaney, that really has seemed to catch fire the last few months here. Ryan Blaney has looked excellent. So you've got Logano, you've got Blaney, and then you've got another guy, like I said, in Austin Cindric, who won at Gateway, who's been really solid on the short flats this year. So I like that bet as well. Let's take another Ford. Let's go to Chris Buescher at 16 to 1. Finished third at the All-Star race, had a good car, very fast. They are kind of all qualifying and race all weekend, if you will. He was very, very good. He was the Richmond winner last year for this very race. Statistically, when you look at Chris Buescher, Richmond is one of, if not his best track. I think there is great value there for the 17 car at 16 to 1. That was on Rhode Island Sportsbook. Going to throw you the number on DraftKings. It's 16 to 1 as well. So I like the value there. I think Chris Buescher is it's going to be one to watch all weekend. And I honestly think his number is only going to shrink, probably closer to the 14 to 12 to 1 after we're able to see him in practice and qualifying. I feel like he's going to have just a really solid weekend all around. So Buescher at 16 to 1. I will note one thing that I haven't mentioned yet is the weather. So I believe it's Debbie. It's kind of like a tropical storm-esque thing that's coming through the East Coast. And so weather might affect this race. I'm not, maybe not the direct race, because it is a night race on Sunday, and it seems to be that most of that stuff will be pushed out by then. But who knows what Saturday will look like for qualifying and practice. I hope that they can, because again, I think like we can get our value now on Buescher and that number will shrink. But who knows? Maybe that stuff gets rained out and numbers start to change a little bit. So keep an eye on the weather all weekend. Next guy I am going to throw out there is Martin Truex Jr. And I think there's a bunch of ways you can bet Truex. You can bet his money line, which right now comes in right around 5 to 1, 5.5 to 1, depending on what book you're looking at. I like him at top Toyota. I think that's another good solid bet to place for him. Top 3, top 5. I think there's a lot here with Truex. This to me is his revenge game. This is a revenge game for everything that happened in that first Richmond race. Martin Truex Jr. still looking for that win in his final season. I think this is a great opportunity for Truex to get said win. I think, if it's not Ford, to me, it's Toyota, because we saw how good Truex was. We saw Denny obviously be solid and win the first Richmond race. Now, things did change a little bit, right? When we went to North Wilkesboro with this new tire configuration that they put together. But I think it's going to be between them top tier Ford guys as well as Joe Gibbs Racing. So those are two guys that I really, or sorry, a Toyota that I really like here. And then one more bet that I like a lot is Ty Gibbs at -125 for a top 10. I just see tremendous value on that bet. Like I said, Toyota in Joe Gibbs Racing specifically is the team that you want to watch here to give Ford a little bit of trouble. I have like I said with Truex, obviously no wins this year for Ty Gibbs. And overall, I just feel like, again, this is a track where Ty Gibbs could possibly get his first win. To me, it's a value bet at -125. The numbers, do they support this greatly, not really, to be honest, but I think in a Joe Gibbs racing car at a short track like a Richmond to get a JGR car at nearly plus money for a top 10, I think there's great value there. So Ty Gibbs is another bet I'll be placing this weekend. Those are my main bets. I think there's still some stuff to look at. And as always, that's Johnny on the Track on Action Network at JOTT_podcast on X for my final card. I think I'm going to add quite a bit of stuff, but early looks at this board in Richmond in general. I like Ford a lot. I think you can throw the Ford prop as well. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Winning manufacturer plus 230 for Ford. So feel pretty confident there that there's some good value. I mentioned Logano at 10-1, Penske winning team at 6-1, Busher to win at 16-1, Truex right around that 5-1 number, and minus 125 for a Ty Gibbs top 10. Excited for Richmond, excited for NASCAR to be back. I hope that tire delivers a little bit more than what we saw at North Wilkesboro. Maybe they played around a little bit with it, and we can see it really. Again, the All-Star race was short. This is a lot, longer of a race, so maybe tire wear will come into play a little bit more. But it is Richmond, so who knows? Its strategy is going to be king. It's going to be tough to pass. It's going to be those aggressive calls that you want to stay out there and maintain track position. That's what we see at these short flats recently with the next gen car. So with that, want to know what you guys think? Put your bets in the comments section below. Call me crazy if you don't like what I'm putting out there. Give this video a like. Goes a long way for the channel. And of course, hit that subscribe button for plenty of motorsports content that we'll continue to put out as we gear up for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Thanks for watching, and let's win some money.